Hello everyone and welcome to Project Operations Core series. In this series, we will be setting up Project Operations Core. This was formerly known as Project Operations Lite. This goes from deal to pro forma invoicing, and it's a Dynamics 365 CE only application, meaning it stays within Dynamics 365 CRM or Customer Engagement app. And it goes from deal to pro forma, meaning it starts from the lead in the sales cycle and goes till invoicing but stays within Dynamics 365 CRM. It doesn't have the customer facing tax information. Hence, it's called as Project Operations Core. Now, as we begin the setup, first things we will be setting up is resource roles, cost and sales price list, and contracting units. As I set this up, I'll also be explaining what they do and why we need them. So let's begin. Now as you can see on my screen, I'm logged into my environment. I'm in Project Operations app, and in order to first set up roles which are here, you need to make sure you are in the resources section in the sitemap. Now once you are in roles, you will see that there are some resource roles added here. So what resource roles means, because Project Operations is meant for professional services firms, engineering firms, they have different roles which the resources are assigned to, and they could charge their time on. So if you are into professional services or IT services, some of the common roles you are aware of is the principal architect, developer, project manager, etc. So these are resource roles. These roles can either be chargeable, non-chargeable, complementary, and so on. So let's start by first creating a resource role amongst the ones already available. So let me go ahead and create a new resource category, that is resource role, and I will create a resource role called as project manager. I'll set the target utilization as 70. I'll come to this later and where it's used. Now let's first set the billing types. The billing types are non-chargeable, meaning any time entry is done using this resource role will be non-chargeable to the client. It can be chargeable to the client. It might not be available, or it might be offered as a complimentary. So I want the project manager time to be chargeable, so I'll select as chargeable, and I'll go ahead and save and close this. So I've added a project manager role here. That is the first thing that we've set up. The next thing to set up is a cost and sales price list. So cost and sales price lists are in sales section of Project Operations. Let's go to sales, then go to price lists. Here I have some price lists, and I already have some price list created. So I'll not go ahead and create a new price list, but I'll open up an existing one. I will add the project manager role to the EN cost price list, and you can see that the context of this price list is called as cost. So there are different type of contexts for these price lists. First I will add the role here. You can see that the price list is effective from 2023 to the first day of 2028. It's using US dollars and the time unit is hours. So let's go and add that resource role here. As you can see, some resource roles are already added, so I will add the newly created project manager role. So what the cost price list does is it will look at what contracting unit or legal entity it is tied to. We will get there in a minute, and it will have a base cost to it, meaning that the project manager is costing $100 for the organization. So I'll add a new role price. I will look for the role that I just created, project manager. I'll select the resourcing unit as EN. Just in a few minutes I'll get to what the resourcing unit does. So I'll create this. I will add a price of $100, meaning it costs the company $100 per hour for this project manager role. Since it's price per unit, all other things are locked, and I'll just simply save and close this. Now project manager is added for this resourcing unit, and it's costing the company $100. Similarly, if I go to the sales price list, you can see the context here is sales, and the different contexts are cost, purchase, and sales, which we will cover in a later portion of the series. Now simply let's go and add the role price for project manager as well. Oh, sales price. So for the sales price for project manager, that is what is going to be charged to the customer is for every $100 per hour, the bill to the customer would be $160. And as you can see, there are different pricing calculations here. That is price per unit, meaning per hour or per unit here, which is hour, it will be billed at $160. So it can either be that, it can just be at the transaction cost. So if it's $100, it's $100 here in the transaction as well, or markup over transaction cost. Let's say I want to have a 50% of markup over the transaction cost, meaning if the cost price for project manager is $100, the total billed percentage will be $150, right? So these are the different price calculations. Let's stick to a simple one, and let's just apply a flat rate of $160 as a bill rate, and I'll save and close this. I've made sure all the details are correct here, and that way my resource role and project cost and sales price lists are set up. So this is just the bare minimum. I already added to the existing records so that I don't create records just because I want to fill some forms. I'll add some context in later series as to what the price lists do, and what all the other areas like role price markups, category prices, material prices, territory relationships, and other related items are. Okay, so I'm trying to keep this series as a quick run in order to get to your first billing. So I've set the bare minimum. Now the final thing to set up in this series is to create or look at the organization unit. So I have two organization units already created. So an organization unit or a contracting unit, interchangeably used, is the legal entity. Like, where does this legal entity uh, belong to? Like, a company may have different headquarters or businesses registered in different regions, and each of those are called as legal entities. So let's say EN is the name of one legal entity. um, you can pick any meaning for it, but I'm just calling it EN. This is, let's say, the headquarters, so I'm just calling it ENHQ. Right, I'll go ahead and just save this. So it was already created. It's associated with a currency, and what it accepts is a cost price list. Remember, it doesn't attach a sales price list to itself, but I can have multiple cost prices, and I need to make sure that the start and end date don't mix up. So if I add more cost prices, I need to make sure it stays outside of the start and end date ranges. So every duration of the cost price list added to the organization unit, they stay unique. Alright, with this we have set up part 1, that is, we have set up the resource roles, cost and sales price list, and organization unit. Just with this we are able to start our first transaction. So I'll go ahead and start to do from the sales cycle, and then we can see how our transactions will flow. Thank you. On to the next one.